Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We have Decision Day for season 13, Married at First Sight in Houston. And we're going to talk about these couples and their decisions. And oh my God, let's unpack the drama. But if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. If you like the video, smash the like button and feel free to drop a comment down in the comments section below. So without further ado, let's talk about these decisions. Okay, let's start with Gil and Mirla, and you know their history. They actually have been pretty much the most compatible out of one thing this season, which is their finances. But Mirla had started off slow. She started off with not even giving Gil a kiss on the wedding day until they admitted in today's episode, Decision Day, that they finally consummated the marriage 2 weeks ago. Now, they kind of strung us along a little bit with the decisions because they was going back and forth with how her negative Nancy attitude and how she wants the finer things in life. She wants to be a millionaire. He only wants to be a thousandaire, and he's okay with the simple part of life and things like that. And that is a crazy situation, to say the least. And I've been saying this in my posts on social media that these two were always at two socioeconomic levels. Only if they compromise and work together to push each other to grow in the same direction and build upon something that they can make this work. However, it was interesting that Mirla told Dr. Viviana that they were wrong by putting them together. But toward the end, it seems like that they finally melted toward each other as time went along. They couldn't see, themselves being without each other. And even after Gil kind of put everybody on shaky ground, he said that he fell in love with Mirla, which that is so awesome. So coupled with the fact that they were a slow burn couple, they took that time to grow in love with each other, get to know each other, try to work through some of the things. And she's definitely patient. He seemed to be trying to be patient. I just hope this finance thing will work out with them together. I think it's so awesome. But after all of this back and forth and kind of scaring the experts, kind of scaring us, they decided to stay married. And I am so excited for these two. The question is, what's going to happen after Decision Day? Are they going to meet in the middle with their finances? So we will most definitely see. But I am so happy for them that Gil and Miller decided to stay married. Okay, next up was Johnny and Bao. And oh my God, did we get a shocker, especially from Mr. Johnny. But we all know their history. They have had ups and downs of many different level of turmoils. He's saying that she was one way on camera and one way off camera. He didn't like her childish ways and her giddiness and how she handled things. And we saw all types of arguments and how she doesn't cook and she's saying one thing to craziness. Then there was the whole thing with her best friend, Sarah. Now, I know what we guys heard on Unfiltered, that this was also Johnny's friend, but I got to give some type of grace to the fact that he apologized for that. He admitted and took accountability that this is what he wanted to hear in the moment, I guess to justify how he was feeling about Bao. And then he decided to say, you know what, I was wrong. I broke our marriage boundaries. I went outside and talked to your friend, which was a betrayal. And now, you know what? I should have asked you first before I did any of that. And the crazy thing is, I thought the man was about to have a heart attack because his heart was beating so fast. The experts were worried. They asked a ton of questions about this whole dysfunction of the relationship. But at the end of this thing, Johnny says, let's see and give it a go without the cameras. And he wanted to stay married. Oh my gosh, I was shocked. I know everybody else was shocked. We definitely did not expect that one. But yeah, I was floored when Johnny said, let's stay married after everything he was saying in regards to Bao. And then it was Bao's turn, and Bao decided to say no on decision day because she felt that it's been too many lows. She can't trust what he says. If he really wanted to work on the marriage, why do it after instead of the past 3 weeks? So it was no for her, yes for him. So they are getting a divorce. You go, girl. You got to stand up for yourself. And everybody's confused on why he had a change of heart. So, hey, I wish him the best, but he need to look back at this and see exactly what happened. But, hopefully Bao will find the person of her dreams. Okay, so next up, let's talk about Brett and Ryan. And yeah, we already know that they were doomed right after the honeymoon. It's interesting that they started off talking about the good things about their competitiveness. They like to have fun. They like to have a lot of banter. And these were things that even Ryan said about Brett. And she had a lot of good things to say about him being a lot of fun and everything. However, Dr. Pepper was listening at this whole fiasco and like, you know what, stop the cap. Uh, I know you're trying to be a good guy and all, and I don't know, that was kind of rough what she said, but um, she was like, I know you're trying to be a good guy and all, but we need to talk about something. How do you say you're going to respect this situation when you start a dating app before ending the marriage? And oh my God, don't. That question put Ryan in the hot seat for real. So his explanation was pretty much consistent as before. He tried to make excuses for it, like, oh, I made, it just happened. And it was like, no, you made it happen. He apologized. We heard that apology once before. They pretty much, just to sum it up, said no, they want to remain friends, but ultimately, get a divorce. Pastor Cal tried to rally for Brett, saying, she's wife material, ride or die. Why don't you have an interest? And what it is, it comes down to, the fact that he's just not into her. It is what it is. He has a type. He said he's 35. He has a type. Now, I know Dr. Pepper was like, you probably had many other types. And he was like, no, I know what I want. And I guess Brett isn't that person that he was looking for. The other thing I found interesting is the conversation about feelings and that they needed to verbalize it. He needed to verbalize it. She, more often than not, should have been a little bit more stern and said, give it to me straight, which technically they should have done. The other thing is making feelings happen. It's one thing to make a marriage work, but chemistry is organic. So for them to say, I'm going to make myself feel some kind of way, I found that pretty interesting. Usually there's a connection that happens between two people and they gel together. Now, yes, you do work on things in the marriage, certain things you have to work on, kind of like what Gil and Mirla had done. And they're still working on things. But emotional things, I don't know if I just don't think that tends to happen organically. It just does. And in this case, it didn't happen for Ryan, and they both decided to move on. So look like they're happy with their decisions. She pushed him on the way out the door, having a little fun with Ryan. So they'll probably be great friends, but at this point, they're no longer husband and wife, and they decided to get a divorce. So, next up is Zach and Michaela, and we know the roller coaster, as Michaela spoke of. We were on that roller coaster for most of these 8 weeks. They started off on a place that was so awesome. She said it was love at first sight. He was definitely a charming guy for her, and he was definitely very, very happy about, the choice of the experts of Michaela. until after the whole COVID thing, because remember, he was in quarantine for what, 14 days. And Michaela, obviously, she wanted to stay with him, but he didn't want her to get COVID, of course. Well, after that, the whole thing with the dog situation, him walking the dog, the disappearance, she had some fits. They left the house. They got back together. They had these ups and downs. What happened at the retreat, of course, with you can leave. No, you can't leave. I don't want you to leave. Yeah, you can leave. And this whole back and forth, and it's just been crazy. So she got to speak on right when the experts asked her what were some of the good things about their relationship. And she talked about how charming it was. It's been a lot of ups and downs, but it's definitely been a learning experience for her. Hopefully it has. Now, we have seen some things outside of the season, so we probably already know what happens now and after decision day. But at this point, without jumping ahead, this is what her thought process was with Zach. Then they asked him, and then he pulled out a laundry list, and the experts gave him the definite side eye on this laundry list. So the laundry list that he had was all about the wonderful things that he loved about Michaela. And I mean, of course, the experts were worried, like, what the heck is he talking about? Anywho, she was in tears, he was in tears, and they talk about this love story that they were supposed to have with all of these ups and downs. And of course, the experts was like, well, everybody else was watching and wondering if this could be legit. And then they asked the question, Michaela, do you want to stay married? She said yes. Zach, right before the commercial, said no. So then this whole thing gets hella confusing because he says that he wants to get the divorce, but he still wants to see how everything will work outside of the marriage. And there was this whole convoluted thing with him. It was like he understood in his head what he wanted, but everybody else in that room was like, WTF. And I think the rest of the fans was like, WTF as well. Because it's like, what do you mean? And it's almost like, let's get a divorce and then let's date. I think that's what he was trying to say. And he wants to divorce the past so he can start over. Yeah, I don't get it, but it makes sense to him. And after all of the beautiful things and how great he is, I mean, she was, that whole thing is so toxic. I mean, both of them need therapy. She needs therapy for her attachment issues. He needs therapy for his issues that he have with conflict and anything else that's going on. So those two do not belong together. And Zach made the right decision at the end of the day, which was to be no. Michaela can go about her way and see what she can do for herself. And Zach got to go figure out his life. But like Pastor Cal said, what the heck was that? So it didn't make sense to me. It was crazy, but I wish them both the best. I had high hopes for these two in the beginning, but it is what it is. So good luck to Zach and Michaela. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about Jose and Rachel. Now, they have been pretty much, I guess, in second place when it comes to the chemistry in their relationship up against Mirla and Gil. They pretty much have been very affectionate with each other, but the biggest issue I would say that Jose has with Rachel is trusting her because she's cheated before. And then the whole thing about the big argument that they had the night after, she left the apartment and he locked her out. She went and stayed with the ex. And then on the flip side, her biggest concern with him is him being so controlling over money, not wanting to take big trips and everything like that. So it's been an interesting season, but for the most part, they did have a lot in common with the fact that they love sports And everything within their culture they definitely connect on. So I mean, for the most part, outside of the controlling issues, that big blow up they had, and then the trust issues, and then the trip issue, that's what they have been dealing with so far. So now it's their turn to do their decision day. So you guys, they got to set it up for dramatic purposes, but they said they had to work through a lot of things, which they did. A lot of people gave up, including Rachel, when she was saying after that whole blow up, she was out the door. But she realized that marriage take work, and he apologized incessantly, as we remember. And really, there hasn't been anything too much bigger than that, or even at that level that has happened that we've seen so far. They absolutely love and care for each other. I can actually see them, because I know there's been some reports that they have been doing their thing, going to baseball games and stuff after the season. And guys, I'm going to keep up with all of these folks after the season, because I do that every season and post all of the good stuff, what's going on, what's not going on, and keep you guys posted. But I didn't expect too much anything less. This was actually the only couple that I expected to stay together. But Mila and Gil definitely surprised me. So I definitely will be following them as well. Now, we do have a reunion coming up. So I don't know. Maybe we have to hold our breaths to see if anybody reconnected with somebody else in this particular cast, or if the two married couples stayed together, or what the situation is. So we definitely will have to keep our eyes open. It's been a crazy season 13. I wouldn't say it was as bad as season 12, but at least we got a little bit. I'm looking forward to season 14 in Boston, but we're not done yet. We got to talk about this reunion and stuff coming up in the next couple weeks, so stay tuned for that. So I appreciate your support for this season with the channel and watching the recap videos. So until the reunion and any other videos that I post, like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.